Hi, I'm Rosie Acosta. I'm a meditation teacher, speaker, and author of You Are Radically Loved, a healing journey to self-love. Look, I grew up in East Los Angeles during the '92 LA riots, and it set me on a troubled path. I didn't grow up with mentors in my life, so I turned to reading as many books as I possibly could to learn about the purpose of life. In my journey, I found that having these conversations gave me life, and I decided I wanted to create a place where I could share these conversations with my community. So come have a sit with me as we learn about, well, everything. Okay, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Radically Loved. We have a very, very special guest on the show today. I would say just popular demand. She's here with us today. New York Times bestselling author Christy Whitman is here. Insert clap track, please. There is a clap track, by the way, to see.
Oh, that's funny. Well, that's fun. We all, you know what? We all need a clap track in our life.
You know, I wish I could just walk around the day, and there is an app on your phone that you can.
You know, I want one that goes, "Atta girl, you did it," right? And then claps at you. So yeah,
no, that's good. I'm so grateful to have you on the show again. You were here a few years ago. Yeah, back in 2018 when Quantum Success came out. Is that right?
That is correct.
Yeah. So we had, such great response to it. And I read that book probably 4 times, and I still listen to it on my phone on Audible.
Because that means the world, Rosie, that it affected you and impacted you in that way. It means everything.
Well, I mean, it just is so, it to me, like all of those essential tips made me feel validated in some of the stuff that I was doing that I didn't know what it was called. And it was the fact that you were able to put it in a way that was very digestible and understandable. I mean, I still use it now. I mean, those practices are ones that I very much have used. I mean, I honestly can probably say I wouldn't have done my book proposal without it. I probably wouldn't have written my book without it. So thank you.
Oh, I'm honored. Thank you. It's so nice to hear that. So congratulations. I'm looking forward to when your book comes out.
Thank you.
We were talking offline that since I met you, right? And since the Quantum Success came out, I started full on channeling. And that's who I wrote The Desire Factor, my latest book with, is the Quantum Council of Light. And when they are signing off, if you will, they always say you are infinitely loved. So I just love that you have that message of you are radically loved, right?
Yes. Yeah. No, I love that. Well, Christy, tell us a little bit about what's happened in the last 2 years. Like this is awesome. I'd love to get a little bit of an update,
Yeah. So since 2018, one day I was it was literally in the same week of the book launch. The book launched on September 18th and they came through on September 17th. And I was in a configuration on Zoom. There was, I think, 6 women, and I was just doing healing energy work with them. And all of a sudden, the woman that I've had the very same similar conversation over and over, and that they would, I could hear them saying there are no problems, only perception of problems. It was like they went, all right, she's not hearing you, move over. And my consciousness went out, and it was literally, I did a whole thing on Meet the Council on my new podcast, the Desire Factor podcast. But it was like my energy, my awareness went off to the side, and they came in fully just in their, it felt amazing. And the information that came through, the way they spoke, everything was just different. And the lady was just crying. And I was again, leaning over the chair, but all the women were deeply moved and touched by the wisdom that came through and the energy that came through. And she heard them. And what they said to her was, and one of the things they always say is that there are no problems, only perception of problems. And the mind is geared to find problems because it wants to let you know, hey, look out for that, right? if you get a book published and you never have before, there's a space of unknown. So the mind wants to go, hey, watch out for that, and watch out for this, and watch out for that, right? And it wants to keep you safe. So even the trepidation or the excitement or any of that stuff, the mind will come in and say, that could potentially, now sometimes in our minds it says that's a problem, right? Because I was raised that way. My mom still, well, the problem with that is everything, there had to be a problem with it. And that was something huge that I had to shift within myself, is that I don't even use that language anymore. Because if we look for problems, we find problems. If we look for problems and talk about problems and think about the problems, and, it could be a different way in your head, the issue, right? We have fancy ways of getting around. Well, I don't say problem. Yeah, but you say the concern is, the issue is, right? There's lots of ways to dress that up, but our perspective is in lack. There's something missing, which always feels bad. And when we can understand and be aware that, hey, I'm looking and searching for problems, I'm creating chaos here, I'm creating this drama, I'm feeling victimized by that. What's the mind telling me? The mind's telling me, ooh, you better be scared, you better watch out. All the things that we can fear or worry about. And if we just literally sit with the mind and go, hey, thanks for letting me know you did your job, right? It's like patting the dog on the head. Good boy, right? You did. Thank you. I'm aware of that. Duly noted. And then we get to come back into the awareness and the power that we have, or what we actually desire. And so that came through. And also what came through is my consciousness of them and the feeling sense of we are all, and I never ever really knew this like I do now. There's no, from the divine that breathes us, from where we come, from the energy that is all, there is no judgment. It doesn't even go there. There's no condemnation. There's no, it's not like Santa Claus, looking at, have you been naughty or nice? And what's the judgment on that? It's just pure positive love. And that has literally changed me.
Wow. Oh, I love it so much. Like my jaws on the ground. I'm like, wow, this is so amazing. And so in alignment with all the work that you've been doing already, right? It's just now it has a name. They have a name, right?
Exactly. And some people will say that because there's people that say, oh, I channel the council, and it's like, is it the same? That kind of thing. And the council's energy, the quantum council that I channel, the council's answer to that is always that, because I have had the commitment to growth and the commitment to releasing the parts of me that are in lack and opening up to the parts that are in abundance, I become more of an open channel. And because I've been teaching this for over 20 years now, and I've been, working with energy and understanding universal laws and mastering my own energy for 25, and will always continue to live life that way, because I understand how now, it's like I get now how to master my life, because it comes down to what we say, what we think, what we perceive or believe, what we feel, and what actions we take, behaviors, habits, those kind of things. And that I influence that. Each of us influence that. And we can't control anything else outside of us, although we've been raised to, well, go get this and then you'll feel. It's a very outside-in approach. Mm-hmm. If you do this, then you'll get, and then you'll feel. But the key to it is understand that everything in this physical universe, this used to be woo-woo 25 years ago, right? Now it's scientifically proven that under everything is energy, any type of form, a relationship, a pile of money, career success, whatever it is, underneath all of it is an undercurrent of energy. And if the undercurrent of energy is lack, it's going to produce more forms and evidence of lack. If the undercurrent of the energy is abundance and it feels good and it feels expansive and there's alignment, that's what the forms and the feelings and everything else manifest from that place. And they're two very different ways of being, but we always get to choose it.
Yeah. My question is always for the people that don't feel that, or maybe they're surrounded by, like what you said, your mom does, you're constantly calculating for the things that might go wrong. Somebody that is, I don't want to say prone to being negative, because I feel like it's just a learned behavior. It's a neurological pathway that's just been used a lot.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So somebody that is in that state constantly, like how can they do they just decide, okay, I'm just going to think positively and just continue to think positively?
Well, yeah. So it's simple and it's not. So like, look, let's explain that, because in essence, yeah, right. But the thing is that when you change, and that's how I started 25 years ago. I became aware that, hey, I'm not my thoughts. I am I'm the awareness of the thoughts. I can actually choose my thoughts. Right. When I have that breakthrough in that moment of, wow, wait a minute, that thought that I keep thinking that I'm not good enough, or that I'm not tall enough, or I don't have this enough, that's just a lie. I can actually change that thought. That is the most empowering thing that anybody can understand, is that, wow, I have control over my thoughts. And to then be able to find in a moment when you're having a thought and change it. Well, we're thinking thoughts all the time, and they go so fast that it's hard to even slow them down. So the thing to understand is that our thoughts and our emotions, it's like a teeter-totter. They're constantly, the thoughts affect the emotions affect the thoughts. And what happens is, again, underneath the current, if there's an undercurrent of lack, you're going to produce lack thoughts, which is then going to produce feeling bad. But if the undercurrent is good, you feel joy, you feel content, you feel excited, whatever that is, those thoughts created the emotions, and the emotions created more thoughts, and on and on and on and on, right? And all of it starts with the words that we speak. Because when we say a word, when we say, I miss this, it pulls down our energy. We start thinking, creating momentum with that. The thoughts then create evidence, which then creates a belief, all of the while stirring up all the emotions. And then that determines what actions we take, or behaviors or habits. If we're in lack and we're not feeling good, we've all done this, right? We don't feel good about ourselves. We're beating ourselves up for something that happened. And then we're almost like, oh, I don't want to go to the gym. And then we order pizza for dinner instead of making ourselves something good to eat. And then we eat the ice cream. It's like that happens, right? It's all in the undercurrent of lack, or, not enoughness, right?
Yeah.
When you're feeling so aligned, when you feel fulfilled, and all it takes is energy to fulfill us. When you feel that energy of fulfillment and you're feeling good, right? It's like the words that you speak create everything. So just our thoughts create the whole entire, what are thoughts? They're words, right? So when we speak a word that feels good, everything else continues to flow in that way. When we speak words that feel bad, right? Because I created a program. It's a free program, and all of your listeners are welcome to take it. It's fantastic to learn how to apply this. It's called watchyourwords.com. And it's 30 days. I tell you 30 words and phrases that you absolutely want to eliminate out of your vocabulary. Why? What it's doing to you energetically, and also what you want to say instead. So, for example, if someone is saying, I can't afford, right? I can't do that, right? I can't stand it anymore, right? Or even something that people think is pretty benign. It's like, oh, I can't wait, right? Even that has a pull down energy of can't. It creates an impatience. Instead of saying, I can't wait, say, I'm looking forward to. Now the energy is expansive. It's so subtle. But as we start paying attention to the subtleties of the words that we say, right? And wait, I just said that and that didn't feel good. I have people all the time that work with me, and they're talking, well, I should. And then they go, they're like, I can't say that word. But it's just an education. It's an awareness on what words feel good when I speak them, what thoughts feel good or bad when I think them, right? And all of it is your indication of how you feel. Because it's like a spectrum. If you are feeling bad on one side of the spectrum is lack, and it'll always continue to produce more limitation, lack, trauma, chaos, suffering, separation, all that, fun life experience that nobody really enjoys, but too many are experiencing. And understand that we live in a law of polarity. We have the polar, if one exists, so does the other. So a world that's fun, a life that is enjoyable and creative and exciting and adventurous. I mean, these are things we can create, and it all starts inside of us, because everything is created. So our words, our thoughts, our perspectives, our beliefs, our emotions, and the actions that we take are all ways that we send energy out into the universe, and our signal draws that energy back and forms situations, people back to us. That's law of attraction.
Yeah. Oh, I love that you're saying that because as you're saying that, you're talking about the different polarities when I'll speak for myself. When I do get in that negative spin, it just wants to perpetuate. It just won't. It'll just continue. It's the snowball effect. It'll just be this, and then it'll be that, and then I'm gonna do the air quotes, but oh, it's gonna be that kind of day
Mm-hmm.
where then you're picking and choosing all those events or emails and text messages that are corroborating that feeling, as opposed to just letting it go and just focusing on all the great things. Oh, it's a sunny day out today, or I'm so excited to drink my matcha, or trying to perpetuate more of the feeling good. And it's so insidious with the words though, right now that you're saying that, like, I'm big on I can't wait. Oh, I can't wait. I'm so excited. But you're right, it does feel different than I'm looking forward to doing this. Oh, I'm going to
Isn't
take
it
that. I
amazing?
want to take that
And
course.
it's just those slight little adjustments that make such a huge difference. So just the words, just checking in with yourself each day, going, how am I doing? How am I feeling? Am I feeling good? What am I needing something? Just self-awareness, because self-awareness is the first key to having any type of even emotional intelligence. And emotional intelligence is so important because our emotions guide everything in our lives. They are an indication of, are we in lack, or are we in abundance? Am I feeling that boundaries are being overstepped? Am I feeling like I'm being used right now? Am I being appreciated? How am I doing in my life? How am I relating to everything that's in my life? Because everything that's in my life gets formed by the energy I'm giving out. So you could be feeling really grateful about something, but constantly being, I like to call it a J hook. It's like you're in alignment, and then it's just like you get hooked into feeling negative or getting pulled down. It's like
Yeah.
noticing, hey, when did that happen? What happened? Did I say something? Did someone say something to me? And understanding that it's whatever you're feeling, that emotion, managing those emotions. That's another thing about emotional intelligence, is one, being aware that you're having the emotion while you're having it, but then knowing what to do with it
Mhm.
once you have it. Right. So
Yeah.
not pushing it away, not suppressing it, not going in, like even an emotion or a beingness, an experience of feeling tired. Right. Someone else will go, I'm going to go get another cup of coffee, or I'm going to go grab a handful of M&Ms, or I'm going to go smoke a joint, or I'm going to go have a cigarette, or I'm going to go shop. I'm going to go whatever. Instead of stopping and laying down and literally for 2 minutes feeling the energy of vitality. Right.
Mm.
So whatever we perceive that we're lacking, we have the energy that can fulfill us right now. We don't have to go anywhere. We don't have to buy anything. We don't have to do anything to feel joy. It's a decision point right now. And when we say, okay, I'm open to joy, all the cooperative components and energetic vibrations of joy start to literally come to us, and we just have to open up to receive it. But if we've got energy blocking, that anger, right? That anger will continue to be like a warning signal that goes off, and it went like the car alarms that go off where they don't turn
Yeah.
off, right? It's like
Oh.
that. It's annoying, right? Well, so we
Mhm.
want to shut it down. We're
Yeah,
like,
you're
turn it,
like looking around, you're at whose car is this? Stop
right?
it.
Right. Well, it's like, whose emotion is this? It's mine. The only way to
Right.
stop it is to feel it. And honestly, just to be aware of that I'm angry right now. I'm I'm a little irritated right now, right? I'm feeling worried right now. And just noticing that, and let yourself go into your belly, because that's where emotional body is, to go into your belly. It's like doing an ab crunch. It's like if you could put all of your focus and your attention on your belly, and imagine that you are like doing a Pilates crunch, or just a sit up, and you're putting all of your crunching effort, your constriction effort in your belly. And once you do that, there's a pulsation of energy that you can feel. And it's kind of like a surfer waiting to jump on a surfboard, waiting for that wave to come. All of a sudden, when you start feeling yourself. And even if your mind kicks into what you were angry about or worried or whatever, you can feel the pulsation of it. And once you do, it starts to get bigger and bigger. And sometimes it can make someone tear, or it can make someone sweat, or give them chills. But this energy is getting bigger to then release, and it takes about 90 seconds. And then after that, after it's done processing and moving out of your physical body, then you can, well, have compassion, like bring in the energy of compassion. It's a very nice, soothing energy, nurturing energy. It's kind of like someone giving you a hug, going, "Oh, that human experience didn't feel good. That, that sucks. Let me nurture you. Let yourself be nurtured by the very breath that breathes you with that compassion energy." Then once you're starting to feel better again with that compassion energy, now you're back to, okay, let me bring in the joy. But if you got underneath that growling energy, no matter how many times a day you say, "I'm going to bring in the joy," you start to receive it. That's the block that people feel.
Yeah. I just did that right now, and it felt so good to sort of feel it and then to release it. There's that energy where you're bringing everything to that core center. And I love doing tactile experiences like that because my body likes to have the feedback, because it creates that neurological pathway that, oh, here's a new tool that works for you. You can do this the next time you're feeling some type of way. For me, it's the disappointment. Oh, that disappointment then is going to take you down this rabbit hole. And disappointment really for what? It's just the shit that we tell ourselves, right? In our mind. Oh, this could have been this way, or you didn't do this.
It's the mind letting you know.
Yes. Oh,
because you're not your mind. You have a mind, but you're so much more than your mind. And that's, you just said, it's physicating what just happened energetically. And that's what the council talks about is, yes, you're energy, but you're also physical, right? So take the physical hand. And when you feel a thought like pulling you in the direction, take your hand and karate chop it, cut the cord. But actually don't think about taking your hand and cutting it. Take your actual physical hand and cut the cord. It feels like, oh, like I just cut the puppet strings to lack. Oh, wow. I mean, it does make a difference. Whenever you could place your hand on your heart and just let yourself breathe in and out and just feel the pulsation of your heart, your heart beats differently than anybody else's. And it's unique and individualized to each of us. So is our consciousness. And that consciousness that's breathing us is energy, which is God, the divine. It's all that is. And an extension of it is flowing through us and keeping it. It's our life. And we can connect to that and go, oh, wow. Look how grounded and centered. And there's like I'm safe. I'm provided for. This is my source of all things. Anything I perceive missing in the world, if I'm lonely, I can find connection right here. If I'm feeling I'm lacking support, I can feel the energy of support right here. That life force is energy. And because I have free will and all energy literally beckons to us, we can say, okay, I want to bring in energy. I want to bring in energy of joy. I want to bring in energy of bliss or success or abundance or well-being or freedom. We get to choose. And we bring that in, and then that gets to be our state of being, because we are energy receivers, we're energy containers, and we're energy transmitters. And once we understand that, okay, I need to bring in energy. That my body needs energy. It feeds off of other energy. So if I'm not deliberately bringing in the energy that I want of joy, of expansiveness, and I go into a business meeting, everybody's worried, how come I leave feeling really bad after that meeting? I'm picking up on other people's energy and not containing my own. Because we could bring in energy and have it go out as swoosh. I caught myself years ago. It was really funny. I'd hear a song on the radio and I'd have this joyful feeling about a memory, right? And many times it could have been like my ex-husband, my former husband. And I might have this song and I would immediately pick up the phone and dial it and like give the joy away to him. And then I would end up, there were a couple of times, it's not like that now, but during the separation time where I would hear a song and I'd have to just share that joy with him instead of just keeping it for myself and letting myself bask in the song. Let myself hear the whole song.
Yeah.
Let myself have that moment for myself.
Yeah.
you know?
God, I wonder, Christy, if that is I wonder if that happens when people share on social media, like they want to share every single thing that's happening, or if they want to take a picture of their smoothie bowl or whatever. Do you think that that's doing that to people?
It absolutely is. Instead of like we create something, right? Or we create it because we want to show it, but we create something and then we're like, oh, right? Unless you know how to contain yourself in that energy, right? Then you're able to then celebrate that. It comes from a very different place because a lot of times people want to and I'm sure people have felt this way before, where you're all excited about something. You just got an idea or desire, or you're working on a project, you got some kind of news, and then you tell the person, and they're like, cool. And it like down, it like,
Literally happened to me today.
I'm like,
Yes.
I was just so excited about that. I was so excited to tell you. And it was like, really? Did you want that? Like, oh, it sucks the energy out.
Yeah.
That's why we have to hold that containment for ourselves and tell who we want to tell, but holding that energy, holding that excitement, holding that joy is just as important as bringing it in, holding it.
Yeah.
And then what you from the consciousness, what you say, what the words that you use, the thoughts that you think, the perspectives that you hold, the emotions that we have, and the behaviors or actions that we take, that's how we transmit the energy. So we've got this source energy that comes in, we contain it, we send it out, and then that creates relationships with people, places, and things and other forms that literally then bring back the energy to us. It's always a constant reflection of what we're sending out, it comes back. But we have constant opportunity to fuel ourselves up. But if you are giving it away, right? Or you're doing all these things to try to get from someone else, like social media can be big for that too, where it's like, oh, I got to get approval. I got to get likes. I got to, and so we do things where it's like, oh, look at that. Or, this is what I'm doing. If it's coming from that place to impress, to try to get people to like you, it's coming from lack. It's not genuine. It's not aligned.
Yeah. I often feel a little guilt, even. I don't really have a better word to explain it, but guilt when I'm not posting enough or I'm not as active, because I still like to live my life in real time and I don't like to share everything all the time. And I take breaks and I have really good boundaries with social media. But I do often feel a little bit of that guilt. It's weird. I don't know what that is.
I totally, yeah. So first of all, guilt in any situation, guilt is an emotion that is supposed to be wired into us so that it's kind of like have we got outside the lines? Are we going on the freeway of life and got outside the bumper to let us know that we're kind of out of alignment with our morals, right? And so it's funny because guilt is an emotion that's supposed to be felt if we have harmed or hurt another person intentionally. So interesting enough, you're saying you're feeling guilty because you're not posting enough. By not posting, are you hurting or harming anybody? No, you're not. Are you creating impact in that moment that you're not posting? Maybe, because you've got other things that are there. And if people want to search you, right? But it's like that thing that I'm not doing enough. I'm not doing enough. So therefore I feel bad. I'm not doing enough comes from lack. So it's this is what I can do. This is what I'm willing to do because I am very much like you, right? It's like I live my life and I'm not sitting there posting something on Instagram while I'm playing with my kids or when I'm, it'd be like having sex. And it's like, oh, this is the best orgasm ever. It's like, enjoy it.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying. As you were saying that, there was this incident that happened. And for me, it's always the case. I would say 100% of the time when I do that, something happens. And Tori, my partner, calls it instant karma because I'll give you an example. We have a nice backyard. During the summer months, we've got a pool and it's really nice. And I'm sitting out there and I often sit out back. I try not to take my phone because I just want to sit out there and listen to the birds and just sit there and do nothing. Just think. And I had my phone with me, and this little hummingbird, we have a lot of hummingbirds that come and visit. There's a lot of little food. They have, we put food everywhere for them. And this one came, and I'm not kidding. She flew right in front of my face. She was so close. I was just frozen. And then she flew away, and I was like, wow, that was really cool. Turns around, comes back, same thing. And I was like, whoa, that is
Sure.
so cool. So then I'm like, is she going to do it again? She flew around, and I grabbed my phone, and she kind of came halfway and then turned around and left. And I'm like, why did I just ruin that moment? Because I wanted to share it with everyone. Like, who cares? Like, why?
That
It
was
was
for
that instant
you.
moment of you have this experience that you were just, as you were saying that, this was the memory that was coming in. I'm like, I was trying to share my joy with whomever, and I didn't have the complete experience. What if she would have come back a third time? You know?
Yes, I do. I had that experience. We were at the Grand Canyon. We were just about to walk outside to go down and watch the sunrise. And there was a blue jay. And this blue jay literally was right outside the door, beckoning me to go out. As like she was just right in front of the door. And I was just so connected with her. It was crazy. And my husband was watching this too. And the minute, and I'm usually like pretty, I could take a picture like that, right? Something I was futzing and fuddling but I was still engaged with her. The minute I got the camera to open up and I go to take the picture, she flew off. It is the same thing, because it's like that moment was and even the fuddling with the phone, right?
Yeah.
So a week ago, I was driving with my son Maxim, and we turned a corner, and a lot of people that don't live in Arizona don't know what javelinas are, but they look like a pig, they look like a hog, they're brown, they're dirty, they're ugly, but and they run in packs, right? And they're smelly too, and they do look like really ugly pigs. And this is so rare. There was literally a parade of 14 of them that went right in front of the street. I had to like park my car.
Wait, like crossing the highway?
No, not the highway. It was like just a side street.
Oh,
right. And all of a sudden, and I'm going, but immediately I was able to take my phone, but I still enjoyed the moment, because it wasn't like, oh, I got to send this out. And I haven't even shared it. It was one of those moments where it was like, I soaked it in. I was still able to take a video of it. The video is kind of like, oh my God. And you hear me going, look at the baby one, but it's like that moment I was able to just watch them and just feel the energy from them, because there's such a solidness about them. They're ugly and smelly and everything, but man, they are not afraid. They, are just totally take their space. And I felt like, wow, that's a teacher, to just not be afraid, to be totally in my space. And it was an exact message that I needed for that moment.
I love that.
So we're present to it and allow ourselves to go, oh, let me,
yeah,
because that's the thing. Everybody's like, oh, I got to share this, because what if it goes viral? And what if it, la, la, la. And you know what I mean? There's, instead of just receiving, like, this moment was for you.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's so fascinating to me, that everything that you're saying, because I'm also thinking, what is the opposite? The desire to want somebody else's life. Like, what is it that we're trying to create? These highlight reels of this facade of a life that we don't actually really get to know. And as I'm even thinking about this for myself, I'm thinking about the word thing that you just said earlier, because I never get off of Instagram and feel like this added value to my life. Never. I don't, it doesn't happen that way for me. And I've curated my feed where it's mostly just my friends now, and I've done all of those things. But to me, there's just, I see it as a tool for your business more than anything else. But as far as it creating a deep sense of connection, it doesn't feel real to me. And I'm much more of a people person. I want to engage in a different way. And what do you think it is for people that, they share their entire, I'm just saying this because I know that two people specifically that I know that share everything of their life, the smoothie bowls, the Instagram stories, the kids, like everything. And they're severely unhappy, right?
Mm.
The facade is this really happy life. And they talk about their issues, with mental health and everything. But to me, I wonder how much of that is you're focusing so much on showing your life than living your life.
That's it. Because if you're living your life, which I do, right? I might take a picture because I want that picture of my son and I, right? Or my two sons, right? And then all of a sudden I might be looking through pictures and I'll send it to my girl that posts everything, right? I'm like, this is an awesome picture, right? It's a personal picture. I'm so grateful today. Or I might take a picture of nature because it's beautiful. Like I took a picture in the Grand Canyon. There was this beautiful path with the sun coming up. It was so glorious. And later, when I was reviewing some of the pictures that I took when I was at the Grand Canyon, I saw this one and it was like, oh my gosh, this perfectly. It's like, what path are you on? Right. And to then do something that would help somebody else think or inspire them.
Yeah.
Now I'm in a place of service. I'm not doing it to try to make everybody, I'm not going, oh, look at me, I'm at the Grand Canyon.
Right.
Right. It's like, this is beautiful. And so it's really always with even desires that we have, because all desires lead us to something. Without a desire, there's no movement. Desires create and desires are life-giving. And so having a desire factor, whatever that is, in your desire factor in your business, in your relationships, in your health, in your money, whatever that is, when we allow ourselves to find the reason why we have these desires and come from a deeper reason, like, why are you on social media? If you ask me why I'm even on social media, it's because, like you said, it's perfect for connecting with other like-minded people that want to be serviced in light. And, this particular thing that the council gets to do by helping people heal, it helps people find that. It's an avenue to allow people to understand what you do. And I get to catch up with some friends, right? It is for that too.
Yeah.
But why you're doing it though? Is it to impress? Is it to make yourself look like everything's perfect? Is it to hide? Look at the reasons why you do the things that you do, whether it's social media or anything else. And is it coming from a place of lack? You're defending against, you're resisting something, you're fearing something, you're guilty about something. Where is the motivation? Where's the inspiration coming from? Because when you're in alignment and you're following your desire factor, you're taking inspired action that really feels good in alignment with you, no matter what you're doing in your life.
Yeah, I love that. So I don't know that we mentioned this, but Christy's newest book is called The Desire Factor: How to Embrace Your Materialistic Nature to Reclaim Your Full Spiritual Power, which I feel like you kind of gave us a little bit of some little bits of insight. But do you want to just let the listeners know what the book is about?
It's really about any desire that you have, whether it's manifested now or it's something that you feel is going to be in the future, whether it's small, whether it's big, whether it's, humongous, whatever your desire factor is, that desire is there to expand you. It's there to grow you. And we can't ignore our desires because they'll continue to gnaw at us and they'll continue to annoy us and they'll haunt us if we do not follow them, because it is literally the connection point between our divine self and us. And so the desire factor literally shows you the exact step-by-step that you need, 7 principles you need to apply in the order that they need to be applied in order to manifest what you desire. And when they're out of alignment, when they're out of order, it's kind of like a padlock. If you have a combination lock, you got to get the numbers in the right order. It doesn't open. Right. And a lot of times people are mixing up the orders, or they don't know of an important step. So something they feel is missing in manifesting or goal setting or however you want to call that. And when you get all the 7 of these, and they take like minutes, but it's a checkpoint of, are all of these things in alignment? And then, what do I need to do as a co-creator with the divine who gave me this desire in the first place? I'm the physical conduit of this desire, and I need to take action. It's one of the principles, right? But what kind of action do you take it in? Do you take it from fear? Do you take it from abundance? Do you take it from, it's just so inspired, I have to take it, right? It's like, where is that coming from? What's the motivation? It's all about self-actualization. It's all about understanding how you play a part in these principles and what your relationship is with that desire. Because your relationship with the desire that hasn't manifested yet has to be aligned and has to feel good in order for them to be some kind of outcome that reflects that undercurrent of energy.
Yeah. I mean, is there a thing that happens if somebody goes after their desire and it's a little premature?
Well, the energy doesn't flow. So a lot of times what people do is they have a desire, right? And the energy, they just go. I used to do that all the time. I would get a desire and I would run so fast and move so fast. I would move ahead of the energy, and that I felt like I had to now, I got to dig the ditches because, but now it's like when you let light flow out in front of you and you flow with that light, it's like, it's kind of like being in a jungle and the first person that's got to take chop down what do they call that? A machete, the machete, yeah. That's the person that's got to do that. Wow. It's so much more better than being the person that's behind that doesn't have to do the machete. And that's what it's like when you work with energy and light, is that you feel like the pathway is literally being opened up for you, even if no one's ever done it. No one's ever created it. It's like, a totally different idea. Being led with light has that feeling where you don't feel like you're the one having to do it all by yourself.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So good. I love that. And Christy, I want to be respectful of your time, but again, our conversations, I feel like I blink and it's done. I mean, there's so many incredible little wisdom nuggets in there, and my wheels are turning, and I'm really actually excited to take the words class course. Is it a course or a class?
It's an online, so it's downloadable. Yeah. Everybody takes it at their own pace, but yeah, it's a program. So it's literally 30 days, and you get a video every day. So it's a nice little inspiration every day, but it also teaches you something that, oh my God, that word, you're like what you did. Wow. I say, yeah. I can't wait all the time. I didn't know that. Yeah. And I'm thinking, oh, wow, I'm looking forward to, well, that does feel better. Right. And so it gives you that every day.
And the tuning in part too, which is something you talk about all the time. It's like the feeling of being aligned or being able to feel the feeling like, oh, this feels good, or this doesn't feel good, or this resonates, this doesn't resonate. I think it takes practice for people to be able to discern that for themselves, but it's totally within our power, like you were saying, with the exercise of focusing on your belly, right? Like bringing all of your energy there and having that experience of whatever emotion is going through you. I think it's such a great tool. So thank you so much. Welcome. I want to ask you the final question, and I'm curious if it'll be different from the first time I asked you. Before I do that, actually, where can people go for more information?
You can go to ChristyWhitman.com, thedesirefactor.com. It's all over any bookstore. And you can go to the Desire Factor podcast to learn more.
Great. We will put the links to all of that in the show notes. If you're watching the video, just go down to the description below, and all of those links that Christy mentioned will be there. Or if you're listening wherever you get your podcasts, we will put them in the info button. All the links will be live there. So the final question to you, Christy, is why we created this podcast. We wanted to build a community. We wanted people to feel like they were loved and supported. And so the final question to you is, how do you feel radically loved?
By connecting with the energy of feeling love. I mean, if you want to feel love. It's there. It's how do I do it? It's just by asking myself to receive it in, and it's there. It's literally in front of me, behind me, below me, around me. It's in me. It's a breath. It's our heartbeat. That's what the vibration of love is. Very different than our 3D. If you do this, I'll love you, conditional kind of thing. It's energy. It's there. So just by asking and receiving it, knowing it's there, having that willingness to live in it.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Christy, so much. I love that. And I'm so grateful. And thank you for all the work that you do and for being so inspiring and for being such a huge supporter of us and the show. Thank you so much. We look forward to having you on again. And for everybody listening, if you enjoyed this episode, please share it with whomever, everyone, anyone, everyone. If you share it on, we love when you share it on social media, even though I said I don't like social media, whatever. We're going to work on my words. I'll tell you guys how my program went after I take it. But we're so grateful for you. You are radically loved and radically supported. And we look forward to being back next week. Thank you. Thank you so much for listening to the Radically Loved podcast. Please remember to subscribe, rate, and review wherever you get your podcast, and follow us on Facebook at Radically Loved Rosie, on Instagram at Rosie Acosta, and Twitter at Rosie Acosta. By the way, this is original music by DJ Taz Rashid. You can follow DJ Taz on Spotify and check out the best music for yoga and meditation. This has been a Mod Pod Studio production. Check them out at www.modpodstudio.com.